Hey everyone, I wanted to give a very quick run through of my new ClickUp Workspace template. So we start off at the top here. It's Workspace says for small teams, but you can expand it to be for any size team really. And it's specifically based on teams who kind of work in sprints and do projects, that sort of thing. But again, you can expand it or change things up or not use sprints at all. But I'm going to walk through each section and explain how it all works. So Workspace for small teams is here. It says start here. So we've got a quick document that just goes through everything. You've got backlog up next, sprint folder, marketing, projects, meetings, and docs. So I'm going to go through each one of those now. Head into the backlog. This is where all your tasks should begin. We want to keep them away from everything else. If you've got any ideas, they should go in here. You can tag them as an idea. And you can see, you can assign it to people. Everything is ordered right now by the priority and then the due date. Again, you can change this kind of thing around. You'll see the latest comment on the right-hand side. So if any comments are added to the ticket, the latest one will appear there. So you can see it at a glance. And then you've got a list of clients who this task or ticket might be for, and the product that this ticket relates to. So the backlog, fairly self-explanatory. Everything goes into there. Then we've got the up next list. So the up next list is like some people call it a sizing bucket. So things should start in the backlog, then they go to up next, or your sizing bucket. This is where you can prioritize your tasks and estimate them before you move them into we'll talk about sprints, but again, you could have another list that is just like this week's list, something like that. So inside here, we've got a few different statuses. Let's have a look. You've got to do, so tasks that are just in here, you've moved them from the backlog, will start as to do. Then you can be estimating a task. So this is when you give it a time estimate. You go over to here, and you can say it's going to take me 8 hours to do. If it's going to take that long, you probably want to break it down into subtasks. And then finally, you've got estimated. So you'll see all the estimated ones at the top. You do have a complete status. Usually you don't complete tasks in here, but sometimes they might be just done already and you forgot to mark it off. So you can just mark it as complete. So you've got to do, estimating, and estimated. Again, you can see the clients here. You can see the product. So if you click on there, I've just put in a couple of little products in there, but you can add more to suit your needs. Time estimate, assignee, again, listed by the priority. And then you can see now we've got a start date and a due date. So you can see if things are going to be overdue, that sort of stuff. So we're going to skip a few folders and go right into the sprint folder. So the idea is it goes backlog, up next, and then we go up into our sprint. So let's go into sprint number 2. Now, when you're working in your sprints, if we go into the settings here, folder settings, sprint folder settings, you can say how long you want your sprint to last. You can give it the date format. So this is day, month, year, when you want it to start, and then the measure of effort. So some people use sprint points. I think that's a ClickUp you have to enable in your space. I like to use time estimates. I just find it easier. Or you can use a custom field. So now you've got a couple of options here. When sprint ends, mark the sprint as done. When sprint is done, then create a new sprint. So this is one, if you're using sprints, you'll want to turn this on. So now you don't have to create them manually. ClickUp will just create sprints for you and keep on making them all the way down forever until you turn it off. And when sprint is done, then move task to next sprint. So if the task isn't finished yet, if it's not a done status, then ClickUp will automatically take your task and put it in the brand new sprint. So these are the things you want to have a play around with and enable when you get the template. When you get the template, you'll have a sprint folder there. What you'll actually want to do is create your own sprint folder. So to do that, you want to click plus up here and you just want to click sprint folder. So that will recreate what you have here. And let's have a look at the statuses that we've got in here. So you've got to do, in progress, needs review, client review, blocked, and done, and then archived. You'll want to go into here and create a new sprint folder, and then you can set all of these things yourself and then set the statuses that you want to use. So this sprint folder here is just an example. You're going to have to create your own. Now, the other folders we've got in here are marketing. This is just a quick place where you can create things like your email newsletter or blog posts. You can have separate lists for this or put it all into one list and split things up by different sorts of tags or custom fields. Now I've just got some generic tasks in here, marketing task 1, marketing task 2, but you can see they're grouped by the client. And again, you can change the group by, change it to whatever you want. I've got a custom field, group by the product or any other custom field that you have. And then you can see, again, the status is now here. So you've got to do. And in this bit, we've got different statuses. So to do, and then the active statuses are drafting, sent for approval, rejected, and then the done status is finished. And then again, you can archive things. You've got the assignee, who is this task actually for, the due date, and the priority. Now, inside the meetings folder, I've split it up into two bits. We've got internal meetings and external meetings. So you can click on the folder at the top, or you can go into each one here. The statuses you have on these are scheduled, in progress, needs review, and complete. Nice and simple on there. And then you've got a calendar view for the internal meetings. And with the external meetings, you've got the same statuses. And again, assignees, start date, due date, all of that stuff. But you've also got a meeting location. So when you go over to the map, you will see that if you put a location on your meeting, it will appear in here. So this is, I think, ClickUp headquarters. And if you go click into that, will be your meeting with ClickUp that is scheduled there. So that's a pretty nifty feature in ClickUp. So internal and external meetings. Next, we've got docs. I've split it up between wiki and SOPs. If you click into here, an option that you have is you can either write your article inside the area here, inside the description. But what I like to do is go down to the attachments, and I like to add a ClickUp doc, and then I will put my documentation inside there, and it will be attached to this wiki ticket. So that's how I like to work on those ones. And then SOPs, I just like to split these up into two separate lists. And again, I said I attach ClickUp docs to the task. And finally, we've got projects. So projects, one nice thing about ClickUp is things can live in multiple lists. So if you have a look at this one, so create some amazing code. You go into this task in the project, and it says this task should be worked on next. You'll see it's in this create amazing code list, but it's also in the up next list. So I can then move this if I want to, and I can go, okay, this is now going to go into a sprint. So that's pretty cool. You can have tasks living in multiple lists, and away you go. And then this is just another example project. And you can add lots of views up here. I'll add some more in before the template goes live. But that is the template in a nutshell. You got backlog, up next, a marketing area, place for your meetings, a place for your documentation, listing all your projects, and then a sprint folder that can automatically create sprints for you inside ClickUp. Let me know if you've got any questions. I will be adding lots more to this, lots more documentation, tidying the whole thing up, and I'm excited to release it.